This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. There's nothing sweeter than baking cookies during the holidays. With Prime, I get all my ingredients delivered right to my door, fast and free, no last-minute store trips needed. And of course, I blast my favorite holiday playlist on Amazon Music. It's the ultimate soundtrack for creating unforgettable memories. From streaming to shopping, it's on Prime. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to get more out of whatever you're into.
Welcome to SeaWorld News Today. This is SeaWorld News Today, part of the SeaWorld News Today network. You can join us at SeaWorldNewsToday.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And you can also, on SeaWorld News Today website, join our Salty Sailor Club. I am always Jeff Butthole, and this is the SeaWorld News Today. San Diego City Council member Marnie Van Wilpert was seen dining with orcas just this last Thursday, as you can see here. As many of you know, she has been critical of the way SeaWorld has been treating its animals, and you can see here that she is perhaps rethinking this. There is no report as to whether or not she has seen the Orca Encounter show, and she has not responded to my several emails and letters and visits to her home. In fact, I have just received yet another restraining order relating to the show. In other news, it has recently been reported that SeaWorld has changed the type of chemicals they use to maintain the salinity of their water. As many of you know, I have felt many times before that simply dumping salt into the water is the best and most economical way to go. After all, it is, in fact, salt water. If you would like to hear more about my rant on this, you can click here, where you will also hear my views about seals and sea lions being the same animal. Riptide Rescue has just been reopened with a new coat of paint. As you can see here, it is a slightly more orange value of color, and as many of you know, I feel that it is inferior to the previous, more yellow tint that they have been using since my childhood. Once again, SeaWorld has destroyed my childhood. And I don't know about you, but this is just another sign that SeaWorld has not been the same since the days when Anheuser Busch was in charge. A court date has finally been set for Perry the Pelican, who, as many of you know, has been charged with tax evasion. The trial will take place in August, and as many of you know, this is well past the time that most tax evasion cases are solved. Of course, if you go to our store at SeaWorld News Today, you can purchase many pieces of merchandise related to Perry the Pelican and his crime spree that has taken over San Diego. And as many of you know, we are in support of Perry the Pelican because we here at SeaWorld News Today, as you may know, we have said Perry the Pelican is a libertarian hero. This tote bag shown here is being put on sale currently, and as you can see, it is a tasteful tote bag on which the words Free Perry are written on one side, and on the other side it says, this tote bag does what pelicans do, meaning that pelicans, of course, carry things in their freakishly large beaks. Something that I am still disturbed by, but I am also fascinated by. A new dolphin has been added to Dolphin Adventures, and you can see lovely Dolores as she is jumping through a hoop here in the footage that is shown on our YouTube video. As many of you know, Dolores is from SeaWorld Orlando, and it has just been brought to my attention that Dolores also has a crippling gambling addiction. As we've often said here on the show, dolphins are very susceptible to behavioral problems, and gambling addiction is one of these behavioral problems that a dolphin could possibly suffer from. SeaWorld San Diego has yet to respond to my multiple letters, office visits, and showing up disguised as a dolphin myself in order to get a response from SeaWorld San Diego. My lawyers have advised me to not say anything about this. However, as you know, I am a victim in all times, in all places. I'm Jeff Butthole. In more attraction news, it has recently been reported to me by a trusted inside source that a new motor has been installed at the Bayside Skyride, and as many of you know, I've predicted that eventually they would have to replace the motor, and I just want to say that I'm vindicated, and that anyone who has doubted me will be banned forever from all of our Facebook groups, including the ones that are especially racist. Now this brings me to another topic of discussion, which is I just can't help but wonder that with a new motor, they might be tempted to crank the speed up on the Bayside Skyride. As many of you know, this is a slow-moving ride over Mission Bay. It's lovely, and only recently they have been charging people to ride in it. And as I have reported in many of my manifestos, I am almost certain that they will increase the speed of the ride almost imperceptibly. And I'm almost sure that, you know what, it's time for a rant. Guys, listen. Ever since they sold the park, Anheuser Busch, things have been just going downhill. They have yet to respond to the Blackfish movie in a reasonable way. As many of you know, I feel and have felt that movie is filled with lies, and it is basically just use of special effects and AI. It's really obvious if you look at it. They made it so that it is imperceptibly fake. However, that makes it even more fake. Now that I've said that, I want to just let you know, the Bayside Skyride is a ride that so many people love. I mean, who hasn't spent so many times riding the Skyride back and forth after you've seen the 4 shows that are at SeaWorld and the 5 exhibits, and it's around noon, and you have nothing else to do, so then, you get the sipper cup, which, I mean, let's be honest, are they really making these sipper cups of a quality that is really worth the price? Let's be real here. The Bayside Skyride is basically the most exciting ride at SeaWorld. And I know many people think that that's a criticism, but it's not. Because I'm scared of heights. So when I go on it, it's scary. I want to make sure that I'm getting the full experience. And if the Bayside Skyride is cranked up imperceptibly so that I feel that perhaps I am getting a few seconds less time on the ride, I feel like that is a travesty, and it's something that everybody should write. They should write a petition, and then they should sign the petition. And then, if enough people actually, I'm talking about letters. So yeah, maybe write some letters, I'll staple them together, I'll put them in my manifesto, and I will, once again, get into the dolphin costume, and I will swim through Mission Bay, jump over the wall, Free Willy style, into the dolphin enclosure, and I will deliver all of our signatures in my dolphin mouth. I'm Jeff Buttle. Anyways, that's my rant, and let's move on. In other ride news, Journey to Atlantis has yet to completely replace Speaker 17B, which, as many of you know, has been reported as being in working order, but having less of a favorable timbre to what I personally prefer when riding the ride. And as we all know, the corporate brass does watch this channel and listen to the podcast. And I know this because I have sat outside of their offices in a van on which I have placed military-grade speakers, previously only used by the CIA in Iraq, through which I blare this very podcast at the office building, causing the windows to shake and occasionally break. So, SeaWorld Brass, don't tell me that you haven't listened to the show. I know for a fact that you have. Anyway, as I was saying. Oops, I forgot what I was saying. I've missed the point. Maybe I should write down my notes. While we're at it, don't forget that you can watch me and all of my nerdy friends make really, really wonderful jokes. And if you decide to watch SeaWorld News Tonight, available here on YouTube, and it features lovely song parodies about fish and about being a victim of the SeaWorld brass. You'll also get to watch me read my top 10 list of grievances against the company. And in grievances, the pretzel cart located outside the Skyride has been using a different coarseness of salt. As many of you know, I prefer my pretzels with a higher grain of salt. This new pretzel cart salt is just unacceptable. First of all, it doesn't stick well to the pretzel. And as many of you know, pretzels require salt. You can try to cover up with mustard, but that's just not the same. SeaWorld, you're getting called out. You know what you're doing. I'm coming for you. Also, this just in, SeaWorld has recently announced that they will be bringing back their fireworks, their nightly fireworks, starting this spring. As many of you know, I predicted that this was going to happen, and it's just ridiculous. They take it away every year, and they think that we're going to forget, but I'm watching them, and as you know, every year I predict they'll come back, and every year they do, and, let's just be honest, this is shameful. And if SeaWorld were still being run by Anheuser-Busch, none of this would be happening. Let's just be really honest about that. But moving on, I just want to address some things that have been brought to my attention on the socials. Look, guys, many of you have complained about the Polar Express 3D movie that has replaced R.L. Stine's Haunted Lighthouse 4D, as well as Pirates 4D. Look, I love those attractions just as much as anyone. And I just feel like we need to wait to see what is replaced. We need to see the replacement before we hate it. And don't get me wrong, we will hate it. You know, just like when they got rid of Animal Connections. I was beside myself, and I said, you know, maybe they'll replace it with something that we like. They did replace it with the Pets Rule show, and as you know, I instantly hated the Pets Rule show. And of course, I did try to break into a pet store to start a rival Pets Rule show, and we all know how that went. Well, thanks for listening to San Diego News Today. As always, I'm Jeff Butthole, and don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been our April 1st episode of 2024. And until next time, don't forget, I'm right, I'm the victim, and Brenda, just call me back, please.